We're about to step back in time on a true historical odyssey. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unraveling the epic saga of arguably the most formidable force in human history, the Roman Empire. Together, we'll walk through the vestiges of an extraordinary civilization, piecing together a sweeping story of political intrigue, absolute economic triumphs, and ultimately, a devastating collapse. It's a question that has captivated historians for centuries. How exactly does a modest, primitive hilltop village rise to achieve absolute dominion over the ancient world? And, perhaps even more intriguingly, what combination of internal rot and external pressure eventually forced its dramatic, world-shaking collapse? Well, the answers are as complex as they are fascinating. Part 1: Rise of the Mighty. Just looking at the timeline, the sheer scale of Rome's life cycle is absolutely staggering. According to myth, it all began in 753 BCE with two brothers, Romulus and Remus. But the true engine of conquest? That ignited in 509 BCE. That's when the last Etruscan king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, was overthrown and the legendary Roman Republic was born. This radical new system, driven by consuls, a senate, and popular assemblies, fueled centuries of relentless expansion, right up until 44 BCE. That year marked the bloody end of the Republic, following the assassination of Julius Caesar. You see, Rome's early expansion was driven by this relentless, almost unstoppable momentum. First, they conquered their neighbors right there on the Italian peninsula, the Etruscans, the Samnites, the Gauls. Then they survived the devastating Punic Wars against Carthage and its brilliant general, Hannibal. Winning those wars gave Rome control of Sicily, Sardinia, and Spain. On top of that, conquering Greece brought about a massive assimilation of Hellenistic culture, really sparking a cultural renaissance. But this rapid, explosive growth brought deep social inequality along with it. Despite the best reform efforts of the Gracchus brothers, those tensions eventually boiled over. And it all culminated when a brilliant military general named Julius Caesar famously crossed the Rubicon River, sparking the massive civil war that ultimately destroyed the Republic. Part 2: The Golden Age. Now, the absolutely crucial turning point of this next era is the concept of the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. Lasting roughly from 27 BCE to 180 CE, this remarkable two-century span was initiated by Augustus, the adopted son of Julius Caesar. Augustus managed to end the Republic's bloody civil wars, established a standing professional army, and ushered in an era of unparalleled internal stability and economic prosperity. And this wasn't just local. It stretched all the way from Britain to the Near East. This newfound peace brought unparalleled progress. The Golden Age saw the codification of Roman law, which ensured equality before the law and protected private property. And you know what happens when property is secure? Commerce completely flourishes. Vast, highly sophisticated road networks literally united the empire. Culturally, we're talking about an explosion of brilliance. Poets like Virgil, who gave us the Aeneid, and Ovid, author of Metamorphoses, truly thrived. Simultaneously, Roman engineers mastered the use of concrete. They built these awe-inspiring aqueducts, bridges, and colossal public buildings that left an indelible, permanent mark on Western civilization. Part 3: Seeds of Decline. But as we know, nothing lasts forever. A pivotal turning point occurs in the 16th century CE. Disaster strikes, plunging Rome into a profound chaos from which it would never fully recover. Suddenly, the cracks in the mighty Roman Empire were visible to everyone. We can really track this collapse like a devastating domino effect. First, vast wealth disparity and an eroding political structure led to severe instability. Then, out of nowhere, came the Antonine Plague in the 2nd century AD. Likely a strain of smallpox or measles, this pandemic was catastrophic. It claimed millions of lives, caused massive labor shortages, and critically weakened the Roman military defending those vast borders. All of this directly fed into what we call the crisis of the 3rd century, a harrowing period of civil wars, economic stagnation, and invasions by Germanic and Persian peoples that very nearly broke the empire entirely. The internal rot was truly profound. Just look at the historical records of the era, which note that emperors would rise and fall, often through violent means, leading to a lack of stability and consistent leadership. The Senate's influence weakened, autocratic rule rose to take its place, and deep corruption eroded the central government's authority. And the military itself? Devastated by the plague, it had to rely on much less experienced recruits, which severely diminished its capacity to defend Rome's ever-expanding frontiers. Part 4: The Fall of Rome. To survive this immense pressure, the empire literally had to split in two. Emperor Constantine established a new capital in the east, Constantinople, located perfectly on the strategic Bosporus Strait. By 395 CE, this division was formalized, creating a stark, almost tragic contrast. Over in the west, the Roman Empire was suffocating. It faced severe inflation, a shrinking tax base, total agricultural collapse, and continuous internal strife. Meanwhile, the Eastern Roman Empire, which would eventually become the Byzantine Empire, enjoyed immense economic prosperity. It was thriving on highly strategic trade routes and heavily fortified urban centers. The impoverished West simply could not hold back the tide anymore. Relentless invasions by Germanic tribes, the Ostrogoths, Vandals, and Visigoths battered the frontiers. The terrifying Huns, led by Attila, pushed these displaced tribes even deeper into Roman territory. And then, the unthinkable happened. In 410 CE, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, successfully sacked the city of Rome itself. It was an event that sent absolute shockwaves across the ancient world. It completely stripped away Rome's centuries-old aura of invincibility. And that brings us to the year 476 CE. This is the widely accepted, rather poetic end of the Western Roman Empire. The last Roman emperor in the West was officially overthrown by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. And ironically, this final emperor was named Romulus Augustulus. Think about that. A civilization that began with a king named Romulus ended with an emperor named Romulus. While the Eastern Byzantine Empire would survive for another 1,000 years until falling to the Ottoman Turks in 1453, the light of Rome in the West had officially, definitively been extinguished. Part 5. Echoes of the Past. But the story doesn't end there. If you walk through Rome today, its monumental ruins serve as living witnesses. Take the Colosseum, the largest amphitheater ever built during the empire. Just standing before it, you can almost hear the ghosts of gladiators, the clash of steel, and the deafening roar of citizens swept up in grand, brutal spectacles. Just a stone's throw away is the Roman Forum, the bustling, beating civic heart of ancient Rome, where fiery public speeches and elections once took place. And overlooking it is Palatine Hill, holding the remnants of impossibly luxurious imperial residences. This is exactly where emperors like Augustus once stood, looking out over their magnificent, sprawling capital. Then there are the pristine marvels of engineering, like the awe-inspiring Pantheon. With its soaring dome and perfect oculus, it served as the ultimate model for architecture for centuries. Or consider the Baths of Caracalla. These sprawling public complexes show us just how vital leisure, socializing, and sheer architectural scale were to everyday Roman life. Finally, stretching out from the city is the ancient Appian Way. Walking its well-preserved stones, lined with ancient tombs, you are literally standing on the vital arteries that connected Rome to its conquests. These roads facilitated the immense trade and unparalleled military might of the empire. These aren't just stones, they are stories permanently carved into the earth. Which brings us to a final lingering thought. By understanding the intricacies of how Rome rose to absolute supremacy, only to succumb to political instability, devastating disease, economic disparity, and external pressures, we hold up a mirror to ourselves. So what enduring lessons does the epic saga of Rome offer for the future of our own modern civilizations? It's a question that reminds us of the profound fragility of power, and it's exactly why we continue to seek answers in the ruins of the Roman Empire. Thank you for joining me for this explainer.